All right, let's get it started. We've got updates in the case of Stephen Stearns. Stephen Stearns is the 38-year-old creeper who is accused of doing some horrible things to his girlfriend's 13-year-old daughter, Madeline Soto. We know Madeline Soto, better known as Maddie, was found deceased last year, March 1st, 2024. And finally, this case is moving forward with depositions. And I'm going to read off 12 people we know have been deposed, and they are scheduled to give their depositions in Florida coming up really soon. And one of them is just a flat out hero. Now, the more I've been researching him, the more I realize he's the hero of this story. He's the reason Madeline was even found. We're going to hear this man, his voice. He's going to talk about Stephen having this scared face to him when this guy looked him eye to eye, but right after he either disposed of Maddie along that old Hickory Tree Road or before he even took her body out of the trunk.
It had this scared face to him. It was just, and like the eyes, just more like a sadness to his eyes,
This man describes Stephen's eyes, the eyes just more like a sadness to his eyes. And he's even going to say she might have been in that trunk as I passed. Let's talk about this man who's going to be number 8 out of 12 people on my list. These folks who the court says they are coming in either on Zoom or in person to give their depositions. And let's talk about the fact that the assistant state attorney has given new witness lists to Stephen Stearns down there in jail where he sits. Who knows what he's doing? Perhaps still peeling paint off the wall and making little balls out of the paint because he's bored. Or is he getting more legal paper from his attorney? Like Stephen previously got yellow paper from his attorney, and he used that paper to write that poem titled Always. It was for Maddie. What's he doing now? He's got some witness lists to go over. Do you guys remember when Stephen Stearns made his first ever court appearance on Monday, October 14th, 2024? We were surprised he even showed up in court. And thank God for the Osceola Gazette. They were able to get that photo of him they published. It was from far away. In that same article from the Osceola Gazette, they noted, quote, "The state attorney has filed to seek the death penalty against Stearns, who remains in the Osceola County Jail. It appears that these wheels of justice are moving slowly." Assistant State Attorney Danielle Pinnell noted no depositions have been done or been scheduled. This was in October. Among the many witnesses in what are now separate cases. So we have the CSAM case, we have the capital murder case. She said the murder case has many more witnesses. So indeed, the murder case does have apparently a lot of witnesses because those are the only depositions scheduled, or one has already been done, that I found were under the murder case. No depositions scheduled or taken yet for the CSAM case. And the CSAM case is the one that's supposed to start next month in February. Remember also in that article it said public defender Beth Bourdon. You guys remember Stephen's criminal defense attorney? I did a video about her previously. Just look in the playlist below. She was surrounded by a defense team of 3 other attorneys. So back then, Stephen had at least 4 attorneys. Beth told Judge Keith Karsten that she is currently on another death penalty case and has 2 others on her docket. So perhaps she's caught up on those or she's making progress. Back then she had asked for Stephen's case to be scheduled for 2027. That's quite a ways away. Now get this, we just started 2025. She was trying to push it forward even 2 more years. But the judge said that would, quote, test the bounds of what is reasonable. Hallelujah. Hallelujah for that judge. Now, I know being a defense attorney, any kind of attorney, is no picnic, no cakewalk, especially when your docket is full, you have so many clients. And I know Beth has had her own health struggles. She's been through a lot, so I'm not taking anything away from her. She sounds like a very competent, smart, amazing woman. But wow, to wait till 2027, that would have been quite a stretch. Even though I wonder if that's what it'll end up being, because I don't think these cases will start as soon as what's listed. Now, remember I said there's no depositions. I looked through the docket. Anybody can go over there on the Osceola Court website and look through the docket, verify what I'm saying. I don't see any depositions as of today, Friday, January 17th at 12:11 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't see any depositions scheduled for the CSAM case for Stearns, even though he has a pre-trial scheduled coming up for February 12th. I mean, what is that, like less than a month away? At 9 a.m. And there's his jury trial scheduled for February 24th, still coming up, about a month away. I doubt it'll start then. And who exactly would be witnesses, however, for the CSAM case? I assumed some of the detectives would get deposed from what they saw, what they recovered from all those, jump drives or his phones or his Google accounts, that kind of stuff. And even perhaps maybe the woman who Stearns dated, she's on this list of 12 too, to testify and be deposed in the murder case. I thought what she could contribute to the CSAM case would be the fact when she spoke about Stefan telling her that he would, just walk out of the shower and have no clothes on, and Maddie and Jennifer would be just sitting right there in the bedroom. I don't know if that would qualify. But anyway, depositions are being scheduled up the wazoo for the murder case. I'm grateful it's moving along. So, the murder case itself is scheduled for a pre-trial for September 10th of this year, 2025. Can it make that deadline? I don't know. The jury trial is scheduled for September 22nd, 2025 this year, and notably the discovery and deposition update deadlines are scheduled for that pre-trial date, September 10th. So we'll see how much can get done in the next 9 or 8 months or so and see what'll get pushed back, what'll go through. If Stearns doesn't have a come to Jesus moment, please let him come to Jesus and just plead guilty and don't put these people through all of this horribleness, especially Maddie's little young friends, if they'll have to testify to anything. Can you imagine? Anyway, we've already seen Stefan Stearns' attorney taking depositions. We saw one listed already, so it should have occurred. I didn't see it get canceled. January 7th, 2025, Meredith L. McCaskill. She is an FDLE crime laboratory biology DNA expert or worker or something. She already educated the court on her findings in the case of Florida versus Sarah Boone, the crazy suitcase lady. And now there was another deposition on the docket for Stearns. It was scheduled with a Karen Vanderveen. She worked at some Wusthof toxicology lab, but that was canceled for some reason. I don't know why. But these 12 others we're about to discuss were not canceled. Thus far, they're on the schedule. If you and I could only be a fly on the wall and just see these depositions, wouldn't that be something? But eventually we will learn what they say. We've already gotten a snippet of what these people have told police, so that's why I wanted to do this video, to give you snippets of what we know about these 12 people, especially the number 8, I'm calling the hero of this entire story, and how he had to fight and fight to get his voice heard and to get police to respond to him, and how that led to finding Maddie, literally. But Stearns is getting the witness lists. Imagine how he's reacting to seeing these people, knowing, okay, these folks can be on the stand in the courtroom. Maybe that's what he wants. Maybe he wants to see the woman he slept with before, besides Jennifer, who's one of these witnesses on this list. Maybe he wants to get back in the courtroom and but look at these people face to face. Quote, the undersigned assistant state attorney electronically served upon the defendant, which is Stearns, an amended list of names and addresses of persons known to the state of Florida to have any information that may be relevant to any offense charged or any defense thereto, or to any similar fact evidence to be presented at trial. Doesn't that creep you out a bit? That always kind of creeped me out. I know everyone is due their due process under the law. Stearns is charged with some pretty heinous, horrible charges, and he gets in prison. Okay, here's the witness list of all these people who will likely be testifying against you. Oh, and here's their addresses too. Names, numbers, addresses, everything. That's always kind of creepy to me. But I guess he just has to know them so his team can make a defense. So now let's talk about the first three people that just popped up. I'm checking that website all the time. So this first-degree capital murder case, the state of Florida versus Stearns, Stephen Michael, it's a notice of taking depositions. E-filed by his attorney on January 16th. This was just filed yesterday by Elizabeth Burden. So we know she's getting on it. This case is moving. Comes now the defendant, herein named above, by and through the undersigned attorney, gives notice of taking depositions of the below listed individuals for the Office of the Public Defender 9th Judicial Circuit of remote Zoom video deposition or in person. This is in Orlando, Florida, at the times indicated below. Now, some of these people we've already covered their interviews, so I won't play all of them, just snippets. And the ones I have not played yet, interviews that I have, especially the hero guy, those that I have not played before, I'm going to go ahead and play in full in this video so you can hear them for the first time, at least on my channel. Okay, number 1, Madison Brady. She's scheduled to give her deposition January 29th, 2025. So that's only 12 days away from now. Remember, she was the school counselor who Maddie literally talked to about Stefan. She called him weird, he's hanging out, he's eating our food, all that stuff.
Having ADHD, a lot of problems with focus that affects her schoolwork and grades. And then some mental health concerns in terms of a lot of anxiety and panic attacks. So from there, I have been doing ongoing check-ins with her throughout the school year thus far. I think we've met about, I was looking at it earlier, 6 times. At those feelings of panic, she's come to me like in the middle of class or during lunchtime just feeling really panicked, kind of heavy breathing, feeling really overwhelmed. And when we've had our conversations about, well, what's going on, what's making you feel this way, I've gotten responses saying, well, it's my anxiety, sometimes I don't know, I'm just really overstimulated with all the noise in the cafeteria. But I've also gotten responses with, well, things at home with her. And when I pressed about that, it seemed to be things along the lines of, well, she gets upset that I'm forgetful or that I don't clean my room the way she wants me to. And we talked about what that does to affect her. And she says, yelling, that makes me get overstimulated and then I can't respond to her. When I asked her about that, the only thing she really said was, I don't really like him. He's kind of weird. So I said, okay, well, what does that mean? How is he weird? Why don't you like him? And her responses were nothing of that level of concern. It was always, well, he eats all of our food and he hangs out in the living room and it makes me uncomfortable because I don't really like him, so I don't want him to be there. But nothing ever to the level of concern that we're seeing now. And the last thing I heard about him was he's moving out. I'm happy about that, and that's helping me feel better with home.
When was that conversation that he was moving out?
That was about a couple of months ago, so I would say around December. Asked her about those comments of him being weird and uncomfortable. The only things she gave me were, well, I don't know, he's just a little weird. He eats our food and he's always hanging out in the living room and I don't really want to be around him, and nothing. And the way she said it was so like joking in terms of like, I don't know, he's weird type situation, like laughing about it. It never made me feel like there was a safety concern.
Madison is the woman at that school that Maddie, I think, got the closest to perhaps spilling the beans, but I don't think Maddie literally told anyone, at least not at that school, what she was enduring. That's number 1, Madison Brady. Number 2, the second person being deposed, January 29th, 2025, Italo Brett. We've heard from him before. He's another teacher. Some are teachers, some are counselors. I think there's only one counselor. He's a teacher. They teach different subjects. Basically, everyone gave a little bit different story. Italo's experience with Maddie was basically, he didn't notice much change in her, and he kind of thought she was a normal kid.
Yes.
Okay, what period did you have her in?
I had her initially in 6th period for the start of the year. And then she requested to be moved to 3rd period because she was having some issues of like not being able to keep up, or rather, she was keeping up, but it was too many behavioral issues around her, so she was getting tired, so she requested to move to 3rd.
Did you notice any sort of like recent changes in her behavior from the start of the school year until now?
Not really, no. She just seemed happier within the 3rd period class that we were in, which is the advanced treble course I have. So she seemed happier there. She learned her music really quickly, as with the rest of the girls in that class. she usually is very participatory. She's usually up performing with us. She doesn't miss a concert. She doesn't miss anything. The only thing I guess I could note is like on Friday she was sitting, but that a lot of the girls sit at random times, and that's related to either they have cramps or whatever. So I didn't think that was odd, but she usually is up and participating and active. Like she just seemed pretty normal, very very happy, easy making her friends. I would say she bloomed a lot more in third because she had her friends there, so she was more outspoken and more confident. She's very helpful in my class. She even organized my piano once because it was all papers on top of it. She put it all together. She wanted to do that. So that's not noticed anything off about her.
Okay. Now, I don't know how you do your grades or anything like that in your class. Has she declined at all in her participation, in her grades, anything of that nature that you've noticed?
She maintains pretty steady, and I just grade participation if you're standing and performing and the concerts. So I've not noticed anything of decline. She is there. That the only time, and even on Friday when she was sitting, I think she was still singing with us. She was just sitting down, which was the only thing,
That was different.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Alarming. The only most alarming thing I've seen was the message that Monday when she was missing. So.
Okay, and what was that message?
So on Monday, February 26th at 5:36 p.m., she said, "Hi, make it to school today. She hasn't made it home today." Then at 5:53, when I was able to reply back, I said, "Hi, Miss Soto. I don't know. Checking Sky where she was absent for periods 1 to 5 and period 7. Period 6, I guess, hadn't marked her, but that's not really so strange because sometimes teachers just forget. That happens. So, but yeah, I told her, that's very alarming. Just, please keep me informed. And I reported it to my teacher mentor. So, and then she reported it to Kelly Armstrong and everyone else in the school. And and she'd been waiting for the police for a while. So, I kind of talked a little bit then.
Number 3, Kenneth W. Dale. Kenneth W. Dale. He's being deposed. He's scheduled to give his deposition January 29th, 2025. That'll be a busy day. So he's giving that over Zoom. I don't blame people who will do it over Zoom. It just might be easier to do from home or wherever. At first I was like, who is this Kenneth Dale? Was he a witness? Was he a teacher? Who was he? I realized he's a deputy. It says in the documents the following physical evidence originally collected from the exterior and the interior of the condo that Jen shared basically with Stefan and Maddie, that 4012 Santa Maria Drive Kissimmee condo. This evidence collected by Deputy Kenneth Dale of the Orange County Sheriff's Office on February 28th, so he was there that Wednesday Stefan got arrested. This following evidence was retrieved and submitted to the Kissimmee Police Department Evidence Unit. So he collected blue gloves collected from the wooded area across from the building, across from that condo. Now, we've seen photos of those blue gloves. Whether they had anything to do with this case or not remains to be seen. And he also collected a left croc slippers, size 5 through 7, collected from inside the residence. That is where Kenneth Dale comes into play, whether he has anything else he collected or whatever he'll offer during his deposition. We shall see. All right, now we're ready to move to 4 through 12. 4 through 12. It was listed on a different notice of taking depositions right over there on the Osceola Court website. It was filed on January 8th, 2025. Once again, this attorney gives notice of these depositions of the below individuals. They can take place over remote Zoom or some of them in person, this time in Kissimmee, in the Courthouse Square location. Now, person number 4, Barbara Belmore. She's going to do it in person in the Osceola Public Defender's Office on February 3rd, almost the same time as her husband, who is number 5, Gerald Belmore. Barbara's is scheduled for 1:30 that day. Gerald's is scheduled for 1:50 that day. I don't know if it'll be multiple people taking these depositions or if it'll only last 20 minutes. We remember I put them together, Barbara and Gerald, because they were the elderly couple, the Snowbirds, the Canadians, remember? Yeah, hey. I can't help but think of Kids in the Hall. Oh, what's that? Every time I think of, Canadian folks, they were the lovely snowbirds from Canada who spent part of their time down in Florida, right next to Stefan and Maddie and Jen's condo, right next door. So they could see a lot. And when they were in town, I'm sure they were home a lot. You know how older people tend to like peek around and look a lot. And I get it. I do it too. I don't consider myself like senior, but I'm just realizing I am, I'm like, I could live in a senior retirement community. It's funny. It's a mind trip thing. But this elderly couple was great. They were able to talk about in their interview, and I still think I'm missing one for Gerald for some reason. I feel like he has a separate interview that I believe I've asked for, but I don't think I have 2 interviews from him. I think I only have 1 if I'm not mistaken. We'll get them all in time. They talked about Maddie's relationship with Juan, her grandpa, when Juan still lived there, how it seemed, I guess, sweet, and Maddie learning to ride her bike, or them watching Maddie walk the dog, and all these things.
He's been here for the last couple of weeks, or how long has he been here?
Well, we first saw him a couple weeks ago, and then we saw him again on that weekend.
This past weekend?
Before the little girl disappeared, the Saturday and the Sunday, he was here. And then after that, we didn't see him. After the Monday, we didn't.
No. The last time we kind of saw him was like maybe Sunday.
Saturday or Sunday,
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And as I say, we're not here all the time. It's just when we're sitting here that we notice things going by,
I gotcha. All right, but the impression he gave me was really, it was a big help, regardless, even if it was like, it was not much.
We don't know much, and from what we've seen, that's all.
No problem.
We just felt it was strange that he took her to school, because we've never seen him take her to school before.
But you didn't see him take her, put her in the car.
No, we didn't see him.
We
but
didn't see anything.
You saw the news.
According to the news, he's the one that
took her
dropped her off 2 blocks from their school.
Okay, no problem.
They didn't necessarily have great things to say about Stefan. He was kind of I don't know what she called him. It wasn't a vagabond or wanderer, but it was just a guy who was just there hanging around, and he's back. They noticed when Stefan was back in town. They spoke about seeing him. I thought they saw him. They were a little maybe confused. They might have seen Stefan that Saturday prior to Maddie's disappearance, walking to Jennifer's white car. So I don't know. I think they'll have a lot of interesting things to say just about what they witnessed, anything they heard. Not like they heard anything happening the critical, fateful, fatal night before Maddie disappeared, but just to speak about the routine of everything. So that's 4 and 5. Number 6. Ooh, she should be really interesting. She who shall not be named. I don't want no smoke from this lady. I do not want any smoke from this woman. Okay, I will just call her M. M.A. She is the woman. She's scheduled to be deposed, give her deposition February 3rd, 2025 at 2:15 p.m. in person at the Osceola Public Defender's Office. Her name is listed throughout all the documents, but I think some people just get a little, touchy or whatever when their name is mentioned, but it's right there in all the court paperwork. She is the woman who Stearns dated from Disney. She worked at Disney with him. She talked about them hooking up a few times. She had a good testimony. Her deposition will probably be even better. She doesn't have any children. She talked about just hanging out with Stearns. They would just kind of drink, and I don't know. She found it weird because the only time he could really get turned on and excited, fully excited with her, was when she would lay flat pretty much and play dead.
I wasn't going to invite him in, but at that point I was like, there's no way to work this around. I don't want to be involved with somebody that is doing these things, and I just broke it off with him. He was very controlling, and he would try to manipulate. And for instance, at work, he wanted us to stay friends. I'm not a person that want to stay friends, so I told him that while we're at work, if we need to talk, we will talk, but other than that, I don't want to keep friends. And he tried to force me into keeping my friendship. He started harassing me at work, and that's when I threatened him, if you don't stop, I'm going to go out at HR or I'm going to call the cops. And the only thing is that they cuddle in bed, because when he told me that she sleep with them in bed, my naive thinking was that it was Maddie, Mom, and him. And I did talk to him. Okay, she sleeps, and he's like, no, she needs to be right like next to me because she likes my body warmth, which I'm sorry, but to me that was disgusting, you know. But my reasoning was like, why is mom allowing, you know, this to happen? Because I don't have kids, but I have nieces and nephews, and I would never allow anything like this to happen, you know.
Tell me a little bit about how your relationship was with him when you guys were officially dating. Was there anything that stood out?
Intimate because we were never boyfriend girlfriend, but when we were intimate,
When you say intimate, are you guys? We're all adults here.
We hung out.
You having sex or?
We did have sex
Okay.
a few times. This is odd. Okay, we're two guys here. Okay, so he was not all there. Like,
What do you mean by that?
he wouldn't get an erection.
Okay.
Like, it would be more like a soft direction.
Okay.
And so it was not like, you know, we were like bunnies, you know. But it was more like we hung out a lot, we talked a lot. It was more like giving each other company. That's about it. We play board games, so he'll come often, and we would just play a board game. We will drink, you know, have a few shots of moonshine, whatever.
When you guys were intimate, did he do anything specific? Did he video?
No,
Was
I don't
he-
allow that to happen. But one time, he had me laid. This is very weird. I'm sorry, but he had me laid face down,
Okay.
like dead. Like it was like face down completely, you know. And he,
Like completely flat?
yeah.
Okay.
And then he went, and that's the only one time that he was really erect, if I'm telling you. That was it, and it was very weird to me. Like, just, you know, at some point I was just so grossed out that I'm open to try things, but there are things that you're like, okay, are you trying to have sex with a corpse here, or, you know, that was my, and I think that was the last time that we were, you know, because it was too much for me to, you know. It's really hard to see that person at work all the time.
So that was pretty troubling, so I'm sure her deposition will be really fascinating. Now, number 7. We're getting there. This guy, James Carpenter, he is scheduled to be deposed, give his deposition February 18th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. I was like, who is this guy? First of all, I couldn't find any audio interview or body cam interview with him, but I found in the documents who he is. It says on March 2nd, 2024, so that's the day after Maddie was found, at approximately 12:22, I, Officer Angelo, was dispatched to make a phone call for additional info to this case. I made contact with James Carpenter. Okay, so he's like 55. He'll be 55 years old this year. James Carpenter talked to this Officer Angelo over the phone, who stated he had surveillance video of his parents' residence, so his parents live on that Hickory Tree Road in St. Cloud. He said the video showed a silver sedan going westbound on Hickory Tree Road on February 26, 2024 at about 1:20 p.m. So James stated he believed the vehicle to be matching the description of the vehicle involved in this case. I provided a link to James to upload the video to evidence.com, which he did, and this supplement will be forwarded to the Criminal Investigation Division for further review. So James, he's another hero here. Thank God for people who check, you know, their Ring camera videos and everything. So of course we haven't seen this surveillance video, I believe. Maybe I don't know if we've seen still images from it, but this guy had the wherewithal to contact police. I don't know if this phone call was recorded or uploaded to evidence. I guess I should FOIA it and see what they say. He was able to check, and he saw this silver sedan going westbound Hickory Tree Road that Monday, February 26th, the Monday Maddie was reported missing, when they believe Stefan was dumping her body or stashing the body, as Jennifer might say, and this was at 1:20 p.m. It's very good that people like this take the time to go through their videos, give cops a timeline, and narrow narrow things down and even help them eventually find Maddie like the next guy did. I know they have not given us any surveillance videos. They won't give us those. Those are flat out denied. But the interview audio, I would like to hear that audio with James Carpenter. I don't think I've heard it. I can search for it again. If I do, I'll pop it in here. If not, we'll have to wait and see if we can get it. So that's really good. He narrowed it down. Finally, here we are, number 8. We're at the hero Thomas Karras. That's what I'm calling him. He is going to give his deposition February 18th, 2025 at 2 p.m. And this is the guy who Crime Line told he didn't have enough info. This guy is great. He is so observant. You know how, I test myself like, Paula, look around the room. If you had to describe what was going on, what do you see in this place or wherever you are traveling? You see a 6'1" redheaded guy, okay, has green eyes, he was wearing a red jacket. Like, pay attention, like they say, have situational awareness. If you have to give a deposition, if you have to remember what's going on, don't always be off in la la land. Well, Thomas Karras was on it. He remembers seeing Stephen Stearns making eye contact with him. Just wait till you hear. I'm going to play his interview in full because I have not played it on this channel yet. I want to see how long it is. His is about 25 minutes. I want to play the whole thing because it is worth it. But before that, I want to tell you what he saw, and I want to read you his Facebook Messenger messages. I think it was to Jenny Esquivel. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that name. She's been great about really seeking justice for Maddie through the Facebook groups and everything she's created, her help with Maddie's memorial and everything. Anyway, before they found Maddie's body, so it was February 28th, Stephen was arrested. March 1st, 2024, that Friday, they still had not found her yet. So March 1st, we're still seeing these pleas from the public, from police. If anyone has video footage or remembers seeing Madeline Soto, Stephen Stearns, or his car, contact Crime Line at 1-800-423-8477. Thomas Karras did just that. I love it. I love it. He did just that. He was so adept at remembering what he had seen. Now imagine it's a Friday. You're thinking back to some guy you saw Monday on the side of the road. He is so detailed. Thomas describes, whether or not Stephen had a tire iron. He didn't see a spare tire. He even was almost going to stop and say, does Stephen need any help? Stephen ducked down behind the car somewhere. He was hiding. Obviously, he didn't want witnesses to see him. But Thomas was on it. Thomas noticed him. He was able to give a description of the hat he was wearing, the clothing he was wearing, the look in his eye. He said he had the scared face to him. His eyes were more like a sadness to his eyes. Thomas is like, I can't believe it. Maddie might have even been in the trunk as I passed. Thomas is very good about explaining how Crime Line basically hung up on him. Now, the investigators didn't want to talk about that too much. I want to read what Thomas put on Facebook, because Thomas was heeding the call. Kissimmee Police Department's Stearns was driving the silver 2010 Lincoln MKZ. Here's his tag. Here's where he was, somewhere around Old Hickory Tree Road and Highway 192. And this is what Thomas wrote. Thomas went out and took photos around the exact place where he saw Stephen changing the tire. And he's going to explain in this interview, he called Crime Line, and just because Thomas couldn't remember the license plate number and all these other details, they were just you don't have enough info, click, they hung up on him. Thomas wrote, update, I gave the pictures to Osceola County law enforcement as they started their search, and they found her where I said I saw him. Crime Line told me I did not have enough info, but Osceola law enforcement jumped right into action. Thank God for the Osceola law enforcement and Kissimmee Police Department. I saw him, Stearns, around 1:20 Monday on Old Hickory Tree, pull over on a roundabout that has a cargo shipping container. He remembers seeing that. He was on the right-hand side headed towards Harmony. He was wearing a green light brown hat backwards. I didn't see anyone else in the vehicle. He was outside the car at the back left tire with a tire iron. Looked like he was changing it, but couldn't say for sure. I'm so glad this guy stuck with it. So eventually they ended up bringing him in, showing him a photo lineup. Now I'm laughing. It's not funny. Of course I'm laughing because they interviewed Thomas. You'll listen to the whole thing coming up. A woman comes in, she brings in a photo lineup. Stephen Stearns' photo must be somewhere there in the lineup. The woman says, take your time, pick out who you think you saw. Our suspect might not even be in here. Just pick out who you think you saw. Take your time. She leaves the room. You hear him go, dude. I just love that. He goes, dude. Knock, knock, knock. Here he is. The cops are like, oh, that was quick, because he's so with it. He knows who he saw. Thomas knows he saw Stearns. He looked him right in the eye. He thought about getting out to help him, but he's like, oh, it looks like he's got it, handled. He was astute enough to see the scared look in his face, the sadness to his eyes. I mean, imagine someone you're passing on the highway, in 2 seconds, you might give him a glance, but this guy took in so much. And he kept going. But let's listen to his whole thing now and come back and wrap this up.
Are we taking you out of work?
No, I work for myself. So
Oh, okay. So you take your own breaks.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, the date is March 4th, 2024. Time is 3:09 p.m. We are at the Kissimmee Police Department in reference to case number 24001896. Person present are myself, Detective Morris, Detective Smallwood, and what's your first name?
Thomas.
Thomas?
Yes, sir.
And last name?
Carris, Carris.
What's your phone number? One. Your address? What zip code is that in St. Cloud?
34771.
34771. All right, before we start, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear and affirm that the statement you're about to give is the truth, nothing but the truth, to the best of your knowledge, so help you God?
Yes, sir. So help me God.
All right, perfect. Put your hand down. All right, so we've talked a little bit on the phone that you called in information about a current investigation that the police are working. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you made that call, why did you call the police? Let me ask you that.
So I know I gave my information of what I saw that day to Crime Line.
Okay.
And they told me it was too vague.
Okay.
And so that's when I went out and took pictures of where I saw him.
How did you know that's what you were looking for?
I saw your guys' post that morning of the car and his face.
Okay.
And the car, where the spare tire was and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The spare tire was on the same exact side of that car and everything. It was a Lincoln that I passed on Hickory Tree. There's not much traffic that goes on in Hickory Tree, but there is more picking up right now. So when I saw him on the side there, I kind of was like, whatever. That's a kind of convenient spot to break down, because it's kind of in a driveway, but it kind of sucks that you're kind of in the middle of nowhere,
Right.
But I called that into Crime Line, and they told me that I didn't have the license plate of his car because he was facing me, going towards Harmony.
Okay.
I was going away from Harmony, going towards St. Cloud on Hickory Tree.
Okay.
Old Hickory Tree, I'm sorry. So I called that into Crime Line. They told me I didn't have his license plate number, and I didn't have his address exactly of where he was. So it was too vague, and thank you, but have a good day, and they hung up on me. So that's when I went and took the pictures of where I saw him. When I came back, Osceola and St. Cloud were starting their search right off of Nolte and Old Hickory Tree near the mobile and the construction site, and there's an abandoned house on the left. So I pulled over, and there's traffic going, everyone's slowing down, but I flagged one of the sergeants over. He came over, and I showed him the picture of where I saw him. And I showed him, I could show you the pictures too. It's the red shipping container, because that's the best way I could explain it, because there's no mailbox, there's no address. So the red shipping container is where he was parked in front of that, that area. So he sent me down to the abandoned school that's on Old Hickory Tree. They do, I guess, their police training there for the past year. So he sent me into the second parking lot where I spoke to an investigator named Donna. I don't remember her last name, but I'm pretty sure it started with a C.
Sita?
That sounds about right. And I airdropped her the photos. And then an hour later, they were at that same exact spot saying this is where they found her.
Okay. All right. So you're from St. Cloud.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to, I don't want to assume, but are you familiar with the St. Cloud area?
Yes, sir.
Have you grown up there and stuff like that? Yes. Okay. So Old Hickory Tree goes from, say, 192... where it passes Nolte all the way back to 192.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I just lived off the corner of Old Hickory Tree with my ex-fiance for the past 2 years now.
Okay.
So I lived a little bit past the fire station on that corner right there.
So you said you were coming from
Harmony.
St. Cloud, the Harmony side.
Yeah, the Harmony side from Harmony coming back.
So it'd be going north.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Eventually, be going north.
It goes south for a bit, but then it loops back around to going north.
Okay. So when you come upon this guy changing his tire, okay, is as you're going north, is he on the left side of the road or right side of the road? Left side of the road. Okay. And you also mentioned there was a red shipping container. Was that shipping container close to the road, or
it's in my opinion, it's more in the middle of the field, on the left hand side of which we was parked. So I came around the corner, and there's another little curve, and then it's a little straightaway that we were on. Okay, that's where I saw him. He was by his driver door at that time, and he had a hat like mine but backwards, but it was like a yellowish, greenish, brown color, like light yellow, light green, brown.
Do you remember what color shirt he was wearing?
Black.
Okay.
I want to say he had blue jeans on, but I don't have much description of the jeans or the like shoes, because when I got up to him, there was another car coming out on his side, coming towards us. He had a tire iron in his hand. There was no jack out that I could see. There was no other tire out that I could see. The spare tire was already on the car, and he had a tire iron out. And by then, and as I'm passing him, he squats down at the back rear tire where the spare tire's on with the tire iron. And as he squats, he looks up, and we make eye contact as I drive by him.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I knew it was him, because I had to slow down just because we're on a 2-lane road.
Okay.
And I want to say the speed limit there is like 50, so I slowed down to about 40. When I passed him. So yeah, the eye contact is what really did it for me. Not only the silver car with the spare tire exactly where it was, but the eye contact.
Okay. This is not the scale. So this is going to be Hickory Tree Road. So say the middle of the road. This is going to be going north the way you were traveling. Okay. There's little driveways that go each way, both into cattle fields or whatever. Okay.
Well,
so
this side has bamboo. This is the side of bamboo where they found her.
Okay.
I took pictures facing towards this way because that's where I saw him.
So I'm going to draw your car here. That's going to show you driving north. Okay. So just draw a square where his car was parked. Okay, and the front of his car is going to be on this side or that side? Okay. Now, can you draw an X where you saw him standing? Okay. And are you saying the spare tire was on this side, or that's where you saw him?
He was there right next to the spare tire.
Okay, was the spare tire
already on the car?
Spare tire was already on the car.
On the car. There's no other tire here. There's no jack to put up or jack stands to put under the car. He was just standing there with a tire iron. Well, kneeled down. He kneeled down by that point of me passing him, and looks at me. He has a tire iron in his hand too. Okay.
Okay. Was his trunk open or closed?
Closed. I didn't see anybody else in the vehicle either. So this kind of just left my mind until a few days later until I saw, the picture of him. And then I had the time from when I texted a client too, because he was on Alligator Lake. That's why I was heading this way.
Okay.
I just left Harmony to go to Alligator Lake, because it was at 1:20 when I texted him that I am 20 minutes away. I'm leaving, not that I'm leaving Harmony, but I am 20 minutes away.
Okay.
So when I saw the time frame of what you guys gave from 1:10 to 1:35, I'm like, this was definitely him.
Okay. What time? So if you actually, real quick before we get rid of this, can you just initial up here for me? And the date, which would be the 4th.
Today's
3. Yeah. So, all right. So you're saying you're leaving the Harmony area to go to a client's house on Alligator Lake, which is north of where this is.
Yes, sir.
You saw him. Okay. So what time do you think you passed when he was changing his tire?
So when I texted the client that I'm 20 minutes away.
Where were you when you texted this client?
I was in Harmony.
Okay.
And I was about to turn onto 192, or not about to turn onto 192, but I was coming the wrong way through Harmony. And I was like, okay, I meant to stop at the gas station, so I went back through Harmony, stopped at the Sunoco there, and when I left the Sunoco is when I saw him. Okay. That Monday. So the Sunoco is right there in front of Harmony High School.
Okay.
So I can go back and kind of try to see what time I was at the Sunoco.
No, we'll worry about that.
Okay.
Did you get gas there, or just go inside to get something?
I want to say I got a hot dog and like a beer for later.
Okay. But you went inside to get that stuff?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Remember what you were wearing? I mean, I can pick you out from a...
I want to say I was wearing a bright green shirt with this cap.
All right, so you left that Sunoco, went down to Hickory Tree. That's when you got on Hickory Tree to go north, or to go to your next client.
Yes, sir. I turned at the light, got on 192, then hopped onto Hickory Tree going back.
Okay, so when you come out of Sunoco, to get to Hickory Tree, turn right or left?
You turn left.
Okay, and then how do you turn on the Hickory Tree from there?
You have to turn into the turning lane, and then you have to cross back over 192, like that are going.
So you're making another left.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. All right. So when you pass this guy, you come down to a set of officers. You see officers hanging out there as you're.
No, there was no officers there.
When did you find this search? Oh, so Wednesday is the one when you saw.
Wednesday morning. No, it had to been when you guys were doing your search on Friday, because I had my son with me. I get my son on the weekends, so I had my son with me, and I want to say Friday morning is when I saw the post about the car and the picture of him, and that's when my heart sunk and I realized who it was. So when I called Crime Line, they hung up on me, told me too vague. Put my son inside the car seat, and then my friend lives right over on the corner from me, so I picked him up to come with me to go take pictures. And so I would say Friday, I have timestamps on my phone, says 3:45, 3:46.
Okay.
And then when I came back through is when I gave the photos.
Okay, so when you talked to Donna, obviously you provided a statement to her as well. I think she said she talked to you for a little bit.
She did talk to me, but I didn't write anything down for them.
Okay, that's fine.
The most she got was my first, last name, and my phone number.
Okay, but you airdropped the pictures of this area where you saw this guy.
Yes, I still have the three photos on my phone.
Is there any way that you could email me those photos?
Yeah.
You live by Deer Run?
Not anymore. I live off of Narcoossee now.
Is that the fire station you were referring to?
Yes. Okay. So when they were asking me questions about where exactly this is at, they're like, is it before Deer Run? Is it before Nolte? And I'm like, way after.
And you knew that because you're familiar with that area?
Yeah. I grew up in this area, and I've been going back and forth now. I've been doing work in Harmony for the past 3 to 4 years, mowing grass. I'm sorry, what's your email?
It's Mark, M-A-R-K, .Morris, M-O-R-R-I-S, @Kissimmee.gov.
How you spell Kissimmee?
Kissimmee.
Okay, Kissimmee.gov?
Gov, yeah. And I'm pretty sure Donna told me she already had the pictures and she was going to do what they do with them, but just so I have a record of them as well.
I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
Thomas, when you were driving by him, I know you said you slowed down a little bit.
Yes, sir.
It didn't come to a complete stop?
No, sir. There was no sense to. I did have the thought in my head about asking him if he needed help changing his tire, but there was no other spare tire. There was no jack. He just had the tire iron, and plus the new tire was on the car. So I'm like, man's got it. And
how would you describe the way he looked? Did he look flustered, normal?
More, it had this scared face to him. Like it was just, and like the eyes, just more like a sadness to his eyes, So, like I said, nothing about it made it seem off to me. Just past him, he seemed like somebody that just broke down. So, but then later remembering everything, I'm like, no, he didn't even have spare tire, no jack, no car stand, like little car stands to be able to put the car down, anything like that. So that got me too. So now it kind of just replays that she might have been in that trunk as I passed, and it also replays that she was right behind me when I'm taking the photos of the storage container, saying he was parked right here. I did just email the.
Okay, perfect.
Was he only by the car when you saw him?
Yeah, he was only by the car. They're saying address not found.
Oh, you put 3 M's.
Oh no. My bad.
What'd you ask?
If he was only by the car?
Yes, sir. I only saw him by the car. There was another vehicle approaching us on his side going towards Harmony. And I believe that was a black, newer Expedition. But I'm not too sure between the Expeditions and the Explorers. Or the Explorers actually is what you guys drive. So it was an Expedition because it was like a 4-door, bigger box truck, you know.
Okay.
I know you said the trunk was closed. Were any of the other doors open?
No, I only saw him open his, well, not open it, but I saw him close his driver door. So I don't know if he exactly just got there whenever I made that turn or not, but I saw him close his driver door when I was approaching him, and he was walking towards the back of the car, and by the time I got to him, he was kneeling and looking at me when I was driving by him.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure you already said it, but I'll ask again. Did you see anyone else with him?
No, sir. I didn't see anybody inside the vehicle. I didn't really get a good look in the windows, but I did not see anybody else, like their head or anything like that inside the window.
So nobody outside with him either?
No, none of that either.
Did you see anybody walk in either on either side, coming north or south from where he was?
I'm sorry. No. From north or south, there was nobody walking. I didn't see anybody with him. He was just by himself. He really looked like somebody that was kind of changing his tire, but kind of just finished up. But again, kind of also looks like he just got there because that front door.
Everything else? All right, so we're going to get somebody else to come in here and show you these pictures. So give us a minute. I'll be right back, okay?
I guess last question. Did he appear, his clothes, what state would you say? Normal, dirty, clean? Remember anything specific about that?
He was wearing a black shirt. So with the black shirt that he was wearing inside his mugshot was like the closest I could say that I like looked at the material. So I don't know if he even changed his clothes like when it came to that mugshot and that, or if he just rewore a short, if he has multiple of the shirts. So he didn't look dirty. He didn't look like he just walked through anything. He didn't have any stickers all over him. I didn't see any of that.
Could you tell if he was sweaty or anything like that? Or
no, he kind of looked like he just got out of his car, you know. Where I couldn't say that because, I don't know if he has AC in his car, but, he didn't have a jacket on, he had these jeans, so, yeah, I'm sorry for just trailing.
That's okay. So you only saw the spare tire that's on his car. You didn't see an additional, the original tire that would be on it?
There was no original tire that would be on it, and there was no car jack, no car stand or anything like that. Just what he was using to change the tire was the iron. It was like a 4.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, but give us 1 second.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm awesome. All right. So I'm going to do a photo lineup, okay? I have some instructions to read to you, okay? All right. So you're going to be asked to view a group of photos of individuals, okay? It is just as important to clear, if you want to read it as well, clear innocent persons from suspicion as to identify guilty parties. The person of interest may or may not be in this photo lineup, and the photos are not in any particular order. Okay? I do not know whether the person being investigated is included in the group. Individuals presented in the photo group may not appear exactly as they did on the day of the incident because features such as head and facial hair are subject to change. You should not feel like you have to make an identification. If you do identify someone, I will have you designate the photograph of the person you have identified. Regardless of whether you make the identification, we will continue to investigate the incident. The photos will be shown to you simultaneously and are not in any particular order. Take as much time as you need to examine the photos. Since this is an ongoing investigation, you should not discuss the identification procedures or results. Okay? Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to have you initial right here. Okay? Thank you. And so I'm going to leave this pen with you. You can circle the page. Okay? I'm going to go out there, so you can take as much time as you need. Okay? Whenever you're ready, you can knock on the door and let me know that you're ready. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Let's knock.
Dude.
That was quick. All right, so the photo lineup I was shown consisted of how many photos?
6.
Okay, go ahead and write that. Were you able to identify them?
The one person, yeah, I don't know who the other people were.
Okay, so just check mark there. Make a check.
Check.
Yep.
Okay.
And then what number was it? Okay. And this is the person who did what? Or that you saw what?
Am I able to go over to, or no?
Yeah, that's okay. Just put it on the side. That's all right. Okay.
What day was last Monday?
Mm-hmm. 26. Okay. And then your signature right here. Awesome. And then the date.
Today's the 4th.
You are correct. Okay. Thank you so much. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
Thomas.
Thomas.
Thank
Carrie.
you.
All right. Just wait here, and I'm sure.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions for us?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. So, like I told you over the phone, all I can do is ask. If media reaches out to you, anybody reaches out to you about this case, refer them to us.
That's what I did.
Try not to answer any questions.
She tried saying that, like, oh, you don't need the permission to give an interview, and I'm like, I don't want to interfere with their investigations, so I won't talk to anybody.
Yeah, like I said, I can't tell you what to do. All I can do is ask.
I'm not going to be looking to reach out to anybody, but if anybody reaches out, that's what I'll do. I advise them to you.
All right, the time is 3:34 p.m. We are going to conclude this interview.
Okay, it says on March 4th, 2024 at 3:08 p.m. Officer Carey responded to this address in reference to administering a photo line for detectives of the Major Crimes Unit. Upon my arrival, I met with Detective Corporal Ilgen and was tasked to administer a photo lineup to the witness Thomas Karras. I read the photo lineup instructions and Karras told me he understood. I left the room. Moments later, Karras advised me he completed the photo lineup and and was able to select photograph number 5. I wonder what photo of Stearns they showed him. His booking photo where he's still wearing the white or black or what. But he recognized and he was able to select photograph number 5 as the person he saw on the side of the road, and that's it. So a portion of my encounter was recorded on my agency body-worn camera and is held at Kissimmee Police Department. I'm just realizing we haven't seen that body cam video either. So many FOIAs we have yet to put in. But anyway, that guy is my hero. Thomas Karras is a hero. He was able to literally, take photos. It's right near here. It's right near that, big shipping container. This is where I saw this man. So he really narrowed it down to me for police. Even though, they had the tracker, they knew locations, they knew this, they knew that. They did not recover Maddie's body until after this guy helped them narrow it down. So I think he's a hero. Number 9, another interview I haven't played yet on this channel, so I'll play it in full. Brittany DiStefano. She's scheduled to come in February 18th, 2025 at 2:30. She is the convenience store clerk. Sunoco, is that how you pronounce it? See, up north we pronounce Amico, but people from the south often mistake it for Amaco, so I think they pronounce Sunoco down there. That's how I kind of keep it straight in my mind. Anyway, investigator Jay Fernandez went to see Brittany on March 4th, 2024 at about 9:30 a.m. Jay Fernandez went to this 7-Eleven in St. Cloud in reference to a tip that Brittany possibly observed Stefan on Monday, February 26th. It says, I spoke to the employee, Brittany DiStefano, who provided me with a verbal statement summarized to the following. So it's that Monday, February 26th. She didn't know what time. She was helping at the cash register. She observed a subject wearing a white t-shirt paying $20 for gas. The subject then left the business. Later on in the week, she saw the news. She saw a suspect was arrested in reference to the juvenile's disappearance. She noticed that the suspect arrested was the subject, the same subject who was in the business buying gas. She was not able to provide much detail about the subject, the time he was inside the business, or what type of vehicle he was driving because the business was so busy. So that's what we're going to listen to now. And I kind of boosted it. It's noisy. You can tell what's going on. A lot of these interviews, you can hear the cop so much better than the person they're interviewing. So I don't want it to be screaming loud for the cop, but then it has to be loud enough for you to hear what they're saying.
All right. So time is 10:04. Today's date is March 4th, 2024. I'm Detective Fernandez, Kissimmee Police Department. I'm here with
Brittany DiStefano.
All right. Before we start, I'm going to advise you, I'm required to advise you that under Florida State Statute 11710, I am a notary public of the state of Florida, and as such, I am empowered to place persons under oath for the taking of statements and other official records. At this time, will you raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm that the statement that you are about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth to the best of your knowledge, so help you God? Okay. Alright, so what exactly happened?
So our mornings are very crazy here. It's typically my one sales associate, myself. I had gone along to register 2, which is the register closest to where our hot food case is. And I was just assisting in our customers trying to get them out for the morning. And I remember a gentleman came to register 2. I cashed him out. I believe it was for gas. I really do. I really want to say it was for gas. I don't think I ran up any physical items. But I remember he didn't speak. He was very quiet when I said good morning. When I asked him if he had any rewards, he did not answer, to which I ended up putting rewards in. And it was very quick. It was a quick transaction. I remember, like I said, he was just very quiet. He was just very closed off. It wasn't until several days later that the face clicked. And it was like I had him in front of me. I remember seeing him. And it was just, I don't know, it's just like this gut with my memory. I remember him being in front of me. I remember cashing him out. Like, it just, I don't know, it's very, I don't know, It feels kind of gross, honestly.
But you said it was 26th.
It was Monday. It was Monday, and it was in the morning. It was, I want to say, it was after my high school rush, which would have been like 6:45 to 7 o'clock. But it would have been this time. It would have been like now.
Like 10 in the morning?
And even maybe like 15 minutes before. It would have been this time that he came in though. Because I remember I would have been back here, she would have got a little bit busy, and I would have popped up there to help her. Today that didn't happen because I have 2 people here. So, but it was about this time that, yeah.
Do you know the exact time?
No.
You know it was after 7 a.m.
I just know it was after 7 a.m. And it was before my lunch rush, which is at 10:55 a.m.
It's at 10:55?
Yeah. Well, it could have gone over lunch rush. So yeah, I would have put it, we'll say he definitely was not in here after the lunch rush. So 11:20 is the end of my high school lunch rush. So between, 7 and 11:20. Yep.
So he was by himself, or was anybody else
Yes, by himself. It's just him. And he had a white shirt on. Because I remember thinking the white shirt blended with his white and black beard. Like it was very...
Was it a t-shirt or like a long sleeve?
No, it was a t-shirt. Like a cotton. Or like a Hanes type.
And then,
no graphics on it, just plain.
You know what pump gas at?
I don't.
And what kind of car he was driving?
I don't.
Were there dirt on him or anything like that? And what he just pumped gas? He just wanted gas.
Yeah, I want to say he got gas because I don't remember scanning items or bagging items, and that typically would have been how the transaction would have happened. But
you don't. Yeah.
Gas, I would have just taken money from it, and that is how I feel it went. That because it was just so quick, and he didn't talk.
But you don't recall like him outside. You just remember when he paid for the stuff.
Was because nothing flagged for me at that point. So I took care of him, left, and went back to doing.
Then when you saw his face, you remember like it clicked.
Like in the week, my sister showed me the news article on TV, and as soon as they showed him, I was like, I know him. He was in my store. And then the next day, when you guys found him, my sister told me that I needed to watch my videos because then it was like she believed me that he was really here because she was so close.
Gotcha. That's it. Anything else you remember from that day? Any marks on him? Nothing?
No. I just remember him, he was so quiet. He said nothing.
Did you pay cash? You never paid cash or cash?
Yeah. I want to say he got $20 worth of gas. He gave me a $20 bill because I didn't give him change back. It was just a boom, boom, have a good day, and he was gone.
Gotcha. That was that day, but you didn't see after that Monday. You didn't see him for the rest of the week. Quick. I mean, there's nothing else that you can think of at all. Okay. All right. So we're gonna end this at 10 a.m. Review. What else you want to add? Worse. Alright, this should be good.
Okay, so to finish up Brittany, you can tell, I don't really know if she saw Stearns or not. Maybe she did. It says, Brittany and I went through the surveillance video from that date, but we were unable to locate the suspect on surveillance video. Brittany printed out the transactions for that Monday, the 26th, and even for the 27th, but she was unable to locate the transaction. So I don't know why they couldn't find that $20 transaction. They should have a better electronic way to search for it. On March 5th, this Fernandez CNS investigator was able to obtain a portion of the 7-Eleven surveillance video from that Monday, the 26th, and that was uploaded to evidence.com. So maybe that will come up in trial. Maybe by now, they've able to pore over it more, and maybe they will see whether or not it was Stearns himself who came in 7-Eleven or some guy that looked like him. To this day, in the Chris Watts case, people keep thinking this guy that looked like Watts entered a convenience store after he, did away with his family, and they think he ordered a breakfast sandwich. But if you literally watch the actual surveillance video, you will see it is not Watts. You will still to this day find reporters saying, Watts did all that to his family, then he casually went into a convenience store and was chatting up the blonde cashier and flirting with her and ordering a breakfast sandwich, when that's been debunked. That's not him. So sometimes people think they see someone who looks like a subject and it's not really the person. So we'll see if it was Stearns or not. All right, number 10. On February 21st, 2025 at 1:30 p.m., a woman named Angela DeLuca, she's going to give her deposition. So she's in the teacher's interviews from February 29th, before Maddie was even found, but after Stefan was arrested. She was the one who said Maddie was shocked about that, graphic novel they were discussing, that it contained kissing.
Assault, I don't know. I just know that there was maybe some kind of stuff on his cell phone.
Okay, who told you that?
I saw it online, the police, the sheriff.
You saw it online?
Report,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
The only thing that I can say related to that is I know that she had been reading a book a couple months ago, and it had kissing in it, and it was a graphic novel, and she was scandalized that there was a kissing scene. So I hope and pray that nothing had been happening. I don't know, but she had been acting like, oh my gosh, kissing, that it was a shocking thing to see a picture of two people kissing. They had been talking during, again, I'm not part of this conversation, they were talking about how they had heard Lady Gaga's, oh my god, Want to Take a Ride on My Disco Stick, and they're, Miss DeLuca, did you know what that song was about? So they've had, but they were all acting very, scandalized, shocked by it. So I'm hoping and praying that she has not had that, but I don't. Can I ask, was there evidence of that?
The investigation's still ongoing, so unfortunately I can't really go into too many details.
Number 11. On February 21st, 2025 at 2 p.m., a woman named Elizabeth Ellis, she's scheduled to give her deposition. She's one of Maddie's teachers. She's the one who spoke with Jennifer, and she had noticed Maddie's more tired than usual, and so she had the fortitude, wherewithal to reach out. Very conscientious teacher here. Elizabeth Ellis reached out to Jennifer like so many teachers probably did, and she was talking about Maddie seems more tired than usual, and Jen blamed it on the fact, oh, Maddie's more tired because she missed her meds this morning or whatever. Jen always had excuses, like she told either this teacher or another one, oh, you're seeing Maddie in her normal state now. This is what she's like without medication.
She's very quiet, reserved. She looks sad quite often.
Okay.
Had even on say on your assignment, to redirect her within a very short amount of time, she's lost focus again. She'll have her head down. She's often in the clinic, whether she was in my third period or currently in my sixth period. She's oftentimes in the clinic. Either she's not feeling well or she has anxiety.
Okay. When you say she's not feeling well, what does that mean? Did she tell you ever?
She's like, I'm not feeling good, can I go to the nurse?
Did she describe it at all? My stomach's hurting, my head's hurting, I'm feeling sad, anxious?
I just know that she has anxiety.
Okay.
So I just allow her to go to the nurse and see the nurse. I'm noticing she's more tired, more withdrawn in my sixth period class. She's lost more focus than usual. And I just forgot. You're just seeing her in her natural state. I forgot to give her medicine.
That's just how she more often is. That's her natural kind of.
So that particular day when I messaged her, she's like, that's something to the effect of, that's her, you're seeing her in her natural state. I forgot to give her ADHD meds or something like that.
Gotcha. That particular day.
Yeah. But it didn't seem to improve.
that's just how she was.
Yeah.
Number 12, the last deposition scheduled thus far on the docket. There might be more coming in. I wonder how many they'll have, like hundreds of people. You know, we still have to see Tyler Wallace, you know, Maddie's biological dad, his deposition. There's so many more. Jen's ex-husband, maybe. Who knows how many more people will be deposed. Number 12, the last one so far. On February 21st, 2025 at 2:30 p.m., Detective Jarrett Fegan. He's going to zoom in from Sarasota County. This guy should have a lot to say about the night he arrived at Deborah Stearns and Chris Stearns' home, and Deb was so upset. He arrived and, you know, she's all calling Madeline's name in the woods, and she's crying, and she's telling them about this torso she found in Stefan's room, and it turned out to be a doll, like, you know, a big human doll torso or whatever. She thought at first it was real. He should have a lot to say about that night. Okay, so that's it so far. It'll be interesting to see who else appears on the docket, what other movements we'll see, whether both of these cases will remain scheduled for this year at all, or will they get pushed back. We'll just keep focused. I'll do any more FOIAs I can, because as I go through this more with a fine-tooth comb, I see more and more like, hey, wait a minute, I never saw that. You know, like, oh wait, you had your body cam on? I never saw that. So let's see what more we can get. 1 John 4:19 through 20. We love because he first loved us. If anyone says, I love God, and works against his Christian brother, he is a liar. For the one who does not love his brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen. Okay, so that's a good update for the Madeline Soto case. I'm in the middle of watching Nancy Grace cover this case too, so I wanted to just give updates now that I saw these names coming through. Depositions scheduled. Who else will be scheduled? What will happen with the CSAM case? Will Stefan Stearns surprise us and just go ahead and enter guilty pleas and we get the rest of the body cam videos or whatever we're missing in terms of interrogation and the like? Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching all this. Stay tuned. Much more on the way.